Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to my channel, Sweet Stampin' Creation, where creativity knows no bounds. You guys, if you love the art of card making or you just want to explore a fun and crafty new hobby, you are in the right place. I am Caron Bailey, your ATX stamping lady. I am an independent consultant with Stampin' Up here in the beautiful Austin, Texas, and I'm welcoming you and inviting you to join me in the craft room. If you are new to my channel, welcome. It's great to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm so happy that you came back to visit me in the craft room for another Roll of the Die episode. What is Roll of the Die? Roll of the Die is an event where um, I roll a set of 6 dies. I think it's 6 dies, 5 or 6 dies, 5 dies. And once I roll those dies, then I create a project using those elements that were rolled on the die. So I'm getting ready to roll. Previously, I would roll the die ahead of time, so I would know what to make, but I decided that it would probably be a little bit more fun for us to roll the die live the same day and then see what we can create from those dies. So let me grab my dies, you guys, and let's get to rolling, and we can see what we can create today. What I love about Roll of the Die, it just gives me an opportunity to play with stuff, to be creative, to test myself um, with what I can create on the fly. Now, I do most of my crafting on the fly, you guys, so that should be nothing new. Excuse me. But this just gives us a little bit more of an edge when we are playing with the die. All right, so what I have here is the host code for the month of October. If you, anything that you, products that you see that I am utilizing today that you would love to purchase, I would be so appreciative if you would shop in my online store. And if you shop, please use the host code for the month of October. It is valid through the entire month, and for every purchase that you make that is $50 or more, you are entered into a drawing. Well, let me back up. All right, for every purchase that you make, regardless of the value, you are going to receive a thank you gift from me just for your support of my online store. But when you make a purchase of $50 or more, you get entered into the drawing to receive the end of the month, what I call my monthly shoppers giveaway. And what that is at the end of the month, I give away prizes. Everybody that shops goes into a pool. I spin the wheel, and that person or persons, because sometimes I might be generous, and I'll give away 2 of them. So here we go, and I'm gonna roll. I haven't thought about anything that I'm wanting to use today. No, so this is gonna be different for me. Okay. Oh, that works. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So the elements rolled today are monochromatic, neutrals, layering, congratulations, and bling. All of the amazing things that I love to use anyway. So our neutrals consist of, hold on, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Pecan Pie, Early Espresso, Basic Gray, Crumb Cake, Smoky Slate, and Gray Granite. Those are our neutrals, and it's monochromatic. So, hey, somebody's joined me. Why don't you pop on in? Let me know where you're watching me from. Be more than happy to talk with me as I go through this process. So, monochromatic is kind of that where you work within the same tone. Okay, so if I'm, for example, there's blue, Night of Navy, that's the in the neutrals, then everything would kind of have to be within that tone, okay? But I'm going to work with the grays. There's 3 grays in the neutrals. When I call them grays, there's Smoky Slate, basic gray. Okay, and what's the other one? Gray granite. So I'm going to try to work with all of those as far as my monochromatic and neutrals are concerned. Layering, congratulations, and bling. Now, I got to figure out congratulations stamp set. So I'm going to grab my mini catalog. Let me grab my mini catalog. Let me see what's in there. And I'm going to run through really quickly to see if there's anything in here that says congratulations, okay? I'm going to want to stick with what's going on in here. The newest catalog. If not, then I'm just going to grab the annual catalog and see what I've got going on there. Now, our holiday catalog is pretty much, well, it's not our holiday catalog. It's the September through December mini catalog. And generally, we like to refer to it as our holiday catalog because that's generally the sending thanks, thinking of you. That's not necessarily congratulations. That's generally because it covers that pretty much period of time. Nothing there. I'm not thinking I'll find much congratulations in the mini, in the September to December, but I figured I'd look anyway. Mm, mm. Nope, not there. Okay, so there's really not much here. Deck the halls. Nothing there either. All right, so what other terms, when we say congratulations, what other terms can we think of? Oh, is best wishes considered congratulations? Is it? I don't know. No? I don't know. So that's the first part. I've already decided on the colors that I am going to use. So now it's just about trying to figure out what stamp set that I'm going to be using. I wonder... hold on. Simply said, let's celebrate. That might be where I need to go. Okay, give me just a second. I think I have found where I'm going to go with this project today. So these are the ephemera packs that we have, and there might be a congratulatory statement in here. So I might just work with the ephemera packs if I can find what I'm looking for in here. There's a hip hip hooray. Does that sound like congratulations to you? Hip hip hooray! I think so. We can make that be a congratulations, right? It's your birthday. Man, this is hard because I don't know what stamp set I'm going to use. If you have any ideas in terms of what else, other than saying congratulations outright. Oh, is this a congratulation right here? Nope, joyous occasion. Ah, way to go. That's kind of congratulations, but it's not going to be in my monochrome. Okay, so that's not going to work. It's not going to be in my monochromatic family. Consider yourself hugged. Nope, that's not it either. I'm thinking simply said we might be able to work with that. Ah, saying hey, that'll work too. So saying hey, let's see if I have this one. I think I have this set. and then we can go ahead and move on from there. And while I'm gone, I'm gonna grab um, my cardstock as well. Oh. So the colors I'm using are, and I'm just going to grab some cardstock because I'm not sure. Smoky slate, how I'm going to layer them, but I'm going to grab them anyway. Smoky slate. Basic gray. Gray granite. Okay. Then I'm going to look for something that has a little bit of an image. And again, I did not put my phone. Flickered in those violet eyes. I wouldn't have noticed it had I not felt it deep inside. Had no idea why that just came on. So I do apologize. I was listening to my audiobook before I came on. Okay, so here's my grays, my gray palettes right here. Uh, Smoky slate, basic gray, and gray granite. This is a retired set, has congratulations in it, but I'm looking for something to make an image. Now, give me just a moment, and I'll see what I can come up with. So the disadvantage to picking the card set, or the disadvantage to picking our stamp sets the same day or the same time, though, is that we do take a little bit of time in actually trying to find products. So I think what I am going to do, I'm still going to do it this way, but I will have 2 or 3 stamp sets in mind, so that I'm already pulling that, and then I can adjust my card based upon those. Oh, this one might be nice too. There we go. Penciled pear. Okay, penciled pear is in the annual catalog. And we are definitely going to use that. So let's go ahead and get started with our card today. All right. Okay. So our penciled pear stamp set is on page... That's dies. It's on page 118 of the annual catalog. This little guy right here. Okay. So let's get ready. Let's get started, and we're going to make our card. This has to be layered. use that as my main focus though. Yeah. And I have an idea for a card. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to my sketches. And I think I'm going to do this one. Somehow I'm going to do this one. All right. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to grab, let's go ahead and stamp our image. We're going to go with the main pear image. Okay, and I'm going to stamp it in, I think I'm going to stamp it in basic gray. Let me grab my colors. Now this is a distinctive stamp. So it is designed and created that you're able to get every little detail that the artist has designed in here with your ink pad. If your ink pad is very juicy, you might have to adjust for that a little bit, but mine are not. Mine are just fine. And then you can see all the detail in here. Okay, I missed a little spot right there, so I'm not, but it's good enough. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, I should have heat embossed that. But since I did not, what I am going to do is I'm going to create a mask around it. Looking for my masking paper. And then I'm going to add my color around the mask. I tell you, you have your things and then you can't find them when you need them, right? That is just how life works. Let me grab some masking paper here. I'm going to grab a piece. Okay. I'm going to ink this back up a little bit. You don't really need for your mask to be clearly defined, but I want to make sure it's defined enough that when I'm ready to use it, okay. I think I just stamped this on the wrong side. No, I did not. Okay. I'm like, what did I just do? I stamped it on the right side, so that's perfect. Guys, as I'm talking to you, it's like going through my head what I'm going to be doing with this card, okay? So, here we go. And we're just gonna go ahead and do a rough cut, a rough emboss, fussy cutting around this set. And this is a sketched, but the way I'm gonna add my color is I don't want it, you're gonna see, I'm gonna brush some color on it. And because of what I'm wanting to do, I have to, because I didn't heat emboss it, I don't want the ink to bleed. So fussy cutting is something that I kind of like to do a lot of. When I say a lot of, I like to fussy cut. I don't mind it so much. Um, since Stampin' Up came out with our mini cut and emboss machine, I do tend to die cut a little bit more, but for me generally fussy cutting is faster. It's less involved, meaning I don't have to go grab my die cutting machine, and so I just tend to do this as my form of die cutting, or image cutting, more so than I do in die cutting, if that makes any sense. Okay, almost done. Almost done. So is anybody reading anything good lately? I just discovered, and I'm reading my first book. I check out audiobooks from my library. I used to invest in Audible, but I now just get my books through um, the public library. I mean, it's a public library. I can support the library as well. And it's just a saving mechanism for me as well. So if you were um, if you were ever wondering or thinking about it, register or sign up at your local library, get a library card, and then you know, download their books. You can just borrow them for 21 days, so 3 weeks. Should be able to read the book and listen to the book or read the book in 3 weeks. So here we go. Am I frozen? I seem to be. Hold on. There we go. Let's get this off. And then once you have your mask, you kind of hold on to it until it's no longer sticky anymore. I know I'm having this, when it's really thin like this, it's just a little bit more challenging to get it cut out. I don't want to break or rip the little thin part. There we go. I think I got it now. All right. So what I'm going to do is, because of how I laid the backing of it, just going to go ahead and lay this on here like so. Okay. Make sure it is over the image where I need it to be covered, like that. That's perfect. And then I'm going to grab a blending brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some color. Make sure that's in there. I don't want it to be too dark, and I'm starting with the lightest of the grays, which to me is the smoky slate color. I'm going to apply this color a little differently. I think my next lightest color, or my next color, is the gray granite. So that's the next color that I'm going to go in with. Okay. Okay. Now the gray granite is like a brownish gray. I'm going to mix and mingle these shades. I'm thinking of die cutting this with the Spotlight in Nature. Okay, let's see what we have going on here. All right, so as you can see, I've used two of the colors. Actually, I've used all three because I stamped it in basic gray. I then sponged in, ink blended on some, oops, I'm gonna have to recut this, right? So I just messed that up. All right, then we're gonna soften this just a tad so that it's not so stark. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna grab my Winka Stella, because that's gonna be one layer of bling that I'm gonna use on this, right? That's one layer of bling that I'm gonna use on this card. Okay. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry. I'm hoping my Spotlight in Nature, and then what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to cut three pieces that are 2.5 by 1 3/4. Let me set that aside, let it dry. And again, it's 2.5 by 1 3/4 is what we're gonna cut. I'm going to need to bring out the big guys for this one. We're going to trim this on at 2.5. And then 1 3/4. Okay. Now, okay, I'm going to grab my labeled and with love. And labeled with love is in the annual catalog. It is a bundle. And when you look at it in the catalog, you have the option of doing a stamp and die bundle or a stamp and punch bundle. And it's on page 58 of the annual catalog, right here. And so you do have the option to get it with a punch or get it with a die or both, whichever one you prefer. Okay? So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to do some random stamping here, and I'm going to go with the butterflies because I like butterflies. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my Versamark. Let me put some of this stuff away. Are you like me, anything like me at all, where you start with a space that is humongous, and somewhere in that humongous space it gets whittled down to less than nothing? Okay, that's me. We're going to go ahead and put our powder on. And again, we're just doing a little bit of random stamping here. Okay. And let me go ahead and put this white embossing powder on here. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's one. This area right here is where the stamp fell on it, the block. So we're just gonna wipe that away. And then we didn't stamp the other one, so we're gonna get those stamped. Be careful. Yeah. Then we're gonna start this way. Gonna start this way. And then I'm gonna do this. Okay. Perfect. All right, so let's get some heat emboss, get these heat embossed, and then we'll go ahead and start to build our card. All right. Whenever I make a card, you guys know we always have to do some form of heat embossing, right? You just know that. You should know that by now. While that heats up, I'm going to go ahead and clean my... So this mat right here, you guys, I do have a silicone mat under here, but what I also bought was, it is silicone, but this is a welding mat. And so it can take the heat a little bit more, and I'm not too concerned about whether I'm going to warp um, my silicone mat worksheet or not. So this is what's called a welding mat. I got it on Amazon. If you are interested in it, I can link that in the description so you can try it out for yourself. So far, I don't have any issues with it. And again, because I do a lot of heat embossing, it just made sense for me to have that extra layer of protection for my work surface. And again, because it is silicone, I can do the same things to it and with it that I would do with a normal or a regular silicone mat. Okay. Last one. All right, there we go. So we got our 3 panels. So this sketch is courtesy of Jackie Ballheis from Clumpin' Stampers. She did it yesterday. I wasn't sure that when I'd be able to use it, but now that I have to layer, I think this is a perfect sketch. So here's what I'm going to work with. This is a base here. I generally always will have a matte layer, so I'm going to have a matte layer in between. So let's get started with that because we're getting ready to build our card right as we speak. So I am going to cut a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to make that white, okay? Yeah, because everything else is going to be in my gray palette. So this needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. And this panel is, oh, this is one that I pre-cut already for something else. Perfect. So that's 4. Make sure this is 5 1/4. Oh, perfect. All right. So we're going to start layering this out. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and also add some more um, butterflies. And this time I'm going to do them in just smoky slate. Okay. And I'm not so much worried about whether I get them in the center or not. Hmm. But mostly on the edges. Because it's probably going to be covered up with the cardstock, okay? And besides that, if you see that you need any more, then you can always add, um, you can always add, oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do, I kind of like to do dark, right? So if we do light to dark, we'll have one over here, we'll have one here, and then we'll have another one here with the darkest in the middle. That's kind of how I tend to do them. That's kind of what I'm gonna go with, okay? So, or should we do, yeah, I think I like that color. I like my dark being in the middle. All right, so let's just go ahead and add some adhesive and get this all layered down. Okay, oops. We're gonna put this one right to the left a little bit, like that. We're gonna put this one about center and off a little bit to the right. Now you can use this, and again, because I have the butterflies in that kind of a configuration, I can do it this way. There's nothing that says I can't. I am layering it, and I think I am going to do it that way. So there we go. Whoops, make sure it's straight, at least as straight as I can get it. Okay, and then the next one, we're just going to put this guy like that. So I have layered, then I'm going to layer again. All right, so we're going to come over and down, and I'm going to do that this way. Boom. All right, so now I'm going to go find my Spotlight in Nature. I'm just looking for that circle. I think it'll fit in there. We'll get as much of the pear in it as possible, and then we'll die cut this. Give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and die cut the pear. Perfect. It fit perfectly. And now let me die cut it, and then I will come back and we can finish with our card. Oh, there we go. All right. So now that we've cut our image out with the Spotlight in Nature bundle or die, we're going to go ahead and add it to the card front. And before I do that, I want to just go around the edges of it. I want to distress it a little bit. So I'm going to go right back in there with the, so you can do that, or you can just run it through. I'm not sure if I'm getting it that way. And there we go. That's much better. Just going to distress the edges just a little bit. Okay. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now I'm going to add some dimensionals on here, or some foam tape. So again, roll of the die is, we do this every month, the second Sunday of the month, unless something's going on, and then I reserve the right to change that date. But generally, I come to you live on the second Sunday of the month, and I roll the die, and where the chips, let the chips fall where they may at that point, okay? And today, our die rolled monochromatic, neutrals, congratulations, bling, and layering. Those are the elements that we had to create with today. Okay. Come on. Sometimes the backing does not want to come off gracefully. Now this circle in my graphic or my layout, you can make it any size that you want. It's depending on what you're working with. I know I had stamped my pear on there, so I wanted to make sure definitely that the pear fit. So there, I had to do that. And then this guy will go here, like so. And then we cut our basic white at 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to do a little bit of layering. So we're layering in terms of, in many different ways, right? So we're going to cut this to 4 and a, that's 4 and a half, 4 and a quarter. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. Because I normally, I normally will cut on the 5 and a half and score at the 4 and a quarter. So now I'll just have a hamburger card instead of a hot dog card. What's a hamburger and a hot dog card, right? I'll show you. So I generally make hamburger cards where the card opens this way, where a hamburger card will open that way. So sometimes if you hear demonstrators or crafting people talk about a hamburger fold or a hot dog fold, that's pretty much all we're saying, is just the orientation of the card, of the opening. Okay? So this is going to go on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I think I'm going to work with the, let's go with the, I think I'm going to go with the smoky slate. Yeah, I'm going to go with the smoky slate one. And I'm going to trim that down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I just had my trimmer and I don't know, there we go. Okay, so what do we have here? This is already 5 inches, so that's only 5. So we're going to trim that down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and lay this on. We are almost done. All I've got to do now is do my sentiment. So we've got this at 4 1/8 by 5 1/8, 5 3/8, I'm sorry. And you don't have to layer. I choose to. That's just what my preference is. I'm hungry. I just realized I have not eaten anything for the day. I just had some coffee this morning, but my stomach's reminding me that, hey girl, you have not eaten today. That it just decides to remind you at certain times. Okay, so we've got our 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 mounted to a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 matte layer, and then I'm going to put that on on our card base. That's 8.5. I'm sorry, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. And while I know I am doing monochromatic, I want a pop of color in here. I know. I'm trying not to put some reds or something like that in here, but it's really, oh, it's tempting me. It is. It's calling my name to put some red in here. But I'm going to stick to monochromatic. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Oops. And before I add that, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Yeah. I'm just going to do my sentiment in black. Black is a form of gray, don't you think? Right? And then let me grab my congratulations. And I'm grabbing it because I want to make sure before I adhere it on there, because I need to know how much I need to cut off. And I prefer to do that before I add the matte layer, right? So if this is obviously going to be a little bit too wide for this. So if I'm going to need to adjust this way, which is what I'm going to need to do, I wanted to make sure that I did that before I attached it to the card base. All right, so now let's grab a piece of basic white. Well, that might do work. I say that might work because that's a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4, I believe. Yeah. Let's add this to here, like that. Okay. And then we're just gonna line this up. As soon as I can find my Versamark, there we go. Okay. And I am gonna heat emboss that, guys, but I'm gonna heat emboss it with clear, obviously, instead of white. And I'm gonna do a single layer embossing this time, not a double. And I'm just gonna chase the powder as it runs along. Okay. All right, so now that that's done, we are gonna trim this and our sentiment will be ready. All right, and then this guy will go about right here. I know. That's the worst part about this, though. Make sure everything is lined up. Okay. All right, so here we've got our sentiment. I'm thinking about maybe even I should have done that before, but I thought about it afterwards, you guys. And this is just going to be a rough outline. Now, the thing about fussy cutting letters and words is you can be very precise if you want to be, but really you can just kind of shimmy the scissors along the edge of it a little bit to the general shape of where the humps and bumps would be of the letter, and then that will make it look just as if you're flying nap of the earth um, when you're cutting. Okay, right here this is kind of just a very rough cut. All right, it's not that big of an edge over there, so I'm gonna cut this off like so. All right. And I made my cuts a little bit wider. Normally I would try to get very close, but giving myself a little bit of um, what do you call that, a border. But I'm taking generous, I'm being very generous here. And all I'm doing is just doing a very general flick as to where the basic shape or the rounding of the letter or the curving of the letter, where that starts. That way, yeah. Oops, almost done. Yep, almost done. And then, now that we're done with that, now I'm just going to put this guy right across here like so. I think that works out way better. Um, way, way, way better. Okay. So obviously when I'm creating in that manner on the fly, I hadn't thought about anything that I'm going to be using in the card. It can take a little bit longer, but if I'd known ahead of time that I was going to use this, that, or the other, then obviously being able to create this card wouldn't take as long as it did today. But this is a very relatively quick, very relatively simple card that can be made in no time at all. Okay? I know sometimes when we demonstrate things in videos, it just seems like it's a long process. But again, primarily because I am kind of figuring it out as I go, it can take a little bit longer. But once that idea hit, it's just to get it out and get it done. Okay, perfect. So now let's just add this guy right here. And then we got our congratulations on here. Outstanding. And then we're going to layer this on here. So I've layered not from the card base. I add a matte layer from the base. I layered within my focal image. And then I layered on top of my focal image. So I've layered. Hold on. Make sure this sits in here perfectly. Okay. So we've got our congratulations. We've got we had some bling. I'm going to add a little bit more. We used our neutrals. We went monochromatic, and we did our layering. You guys, this is our card. Look at that. What do you think? I hope you enjoyed this card. Again, the products that I used today, I use I used a retired stamp set for my greeting. It's called Sweetly Scripted. Um, this was an online exclusive. I don't think it's there anymore. I also used Labeled with Love for my butterfly. I used, where's my other thing here? Labeled with Love. And our penciled pear for our focal image, okay? One more thing, and that's to add some bling on here, and then this card will be completely finished. I know we had some gray gems, but I don't know, I can't put my hands on them relatively quickly. So I'm gonna find some, oh, let's go with that. We got some pearls. We're gonna put some pearls on here just for some added extra bling. Come on. Sometimes these guys don't want to lift off. So we're going to put this one here. We're going to grab a medium-sized one that we're going to put here. And then we're going to grab a small one that I'm going to put right there. Now, all of the elements are accounted for in this card. Monochromatic, neutrals, bling, layering, and congratulations. I hope you guys enjoyed creating with me today at this roll of the die. Don't forget to check back with me on the second Sunday of the month in November to see what the die rolls. If you, again, see any of the products that you like, the host code is listed right here in the upper left-hand corner. You'll see that. And you guys, if you want to reach out to me about joining my team or be signing up to be one of my VIP customers, I would love to have you. So reach out to me. You can see my information, my email address is listed down below. So go ahead and check that out. It will also be in the description bar. On that note, you guys, thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this card, this monochromatic neutrals card. Thank you for joining me again, and you guys, happy stamping!